If you're one of the people who I'm discussing today and want to air your grievances, you may do so by calling the toll-free number 1-800-288-4878. That's 1-800-BUTHURT. I assure you that all complaints are fully processed and taken seriously. As the old adage goes, haters gonna hate. That's a part of life that you just have to learn to live with. But sometimes, the trolls don't quite realize that they're actually being trolls. Sometimes, they genuinely seem to believe that they are offering honest-to-goodness constructive criticism of my work, even though, deep down inside, no, they're honestly just trolling. What's up guys, Acer Thorn here, and today I'd like to debunk a few of the most common quote-unquote criticisms I often receive in my videos. Now for those of you who are new to the channel, I mostly do video game retrospectives and in-depth story analysis, so if you'd like to see those types of videos, hit that subscribe button to stay notified. When I published my video, Jim Sterling censored me for criticizing him, I got a comment from one of my oldest subscribers. I'll cover his name in order to protect his privacy. Anyway, he said that I should stick to critiquing games, since if I were to attack other YouTubers like Jim Sterling, it would only lead to unnecessary drama. Now, I don't think this guy's lying to me. If he's going to watch one of my videos at all, he's most likely going to watch it within the first few hours after it gets published, so he normally doesn't see all of the comments from haters who come in a few days later and just cry, because I didn't give a game they liked as glowing a review as they wanted me to give. Now, the vast majority of these comments are clearly just toxic, venomous comments that don't try to hide how negative they're being. However, as I alluded to a moment ago, a handful of people seem to think that they are actually giving legitimate feedback on how I handle my reviews. Hands down, one of the most common quote-unquote constructive criticisms I often receive on my reviews is that I didn't even play the game, or didn't even complete the game, and therefore my review is necessarily invalid for that reason alone. Now, I've already made a video discussing that argument. However, at the time of that writing, only one person had actually given that criticism on my Dark Souls retrospective. But since then, so many others have given the exact same criticism. Now, you would think that if enough people actually feel that my review is invalid because I didn't complete the game, you'd think I would eventually concede that they might actually have a point. That does, after all, appear to be the consensus opinion, right? That I should complete a game before I review it? Well, there's a slight problem with that argument. Yes, there are plenty of people who felt that my Dark Souls retrospective is invalid because I didn't complete the game, but there's also plenty of people who think that my Fallout New Vegas retrospective is invalid because I didn't play the game. No, seriously, there's comments like this one, who says that I should at least play the game before I criticize it. He even feels that I don't have to actually complete the game, just play it. The flaw in this guy's logic? I did indeed play the game. In fact, I didn't just play the game, I actually completed it, all the way up to the Battle for Hoover Dam and the end credits. In fact, not only did I play the game to completion, but I actually have a 69 episode Let's Play series providing video proof that I did indeed play the game. In fact, not only do I have video proof that I did indeed play the game, but I even provided a link to that playlist in the Fallout New Vegas retrospective video, as well as made numerous references in that retrospective video to the fact that I had originally played this game for a Let's Play on my channel, and even occasionally posted comments that people had left on my Let's Play videos. So, he says I didn't even play the game before criticizing it? Well, I'd argue he is guilty of the exact same thing he accuses me of. I accuse him of not watching the video before he criticized the video. I don't see how you could possibly have watched the video and honestly believed that I didn't actually play the game. Then there's my recent Splinter Cell retrospective videos. Now, unlike New Vegas, I didn't play this game for a Let's Play. I played this game offline and then uploaded the raw footage as unlisted videos. However, people still accuse me of not playing the game before I reviewed it. Now, if you actually go and check the descriptions of those videos, you can see that I actually provided links to the unlisted playlists of raw footage I used to make the retrospective videos with. Now sure, these playlists are all unlisted, but then again, that's the whole reason I provided you with the links to the playlists. So, what does this have to do with my Dark Souls review being invalid? Unlike the New Vegas and Splinter Cell retrospectives, it is indeed true that I didn't complete Dark Souls before I reviewed it. So how does any of this invalidate the criticisms made against the Dark Souls review? Well, the simple answer is because it shows that the criticism is insincere. Even though the criticism may be technically, factually accurate for Dark Souls, the fact that I had the exact same criticism levied against me even in reviews where I did play and even finish the games just goes to show that this criticism isn't the real reason you don't like my review. Even if I had finished the game, you most likely would still have said that my review was invalid because I didn't play the game. You didn't find my Dark Souls retrospective to be invalid because I didn't complete the game. It was actually the other way around. You decided my Dark Souls retrospective was invalid, oh boo motherfucking who, and then criticized me for not finishing the game. In that order. Think about it this way. Imagine if there was some guy who claimed to be a prophet and who claimed to have the divine power to predict the future. So he starts making prediction after prediction about what the future holds. 99.99% of his predictions do not come to pass, but once in a blue moon, he just happens to make a prediction that ultimately does come to pass. Would you consider that one prediction to be proof that, hey, maybe this guy really does have a divine gift after all? Or would you consider that one success out of literally thousands of failures to be just a fluke? Well, the criticism that I didn't play/complete the game is much the same way. It's the go-to criticism for people who don't like my reviews. Just because with this one game they just happen to get it right doesn't make my Dark Souls retrospective invalid, because even though it's technically true in this one instance, the criticism itself is merely a pretextual excuse to dismiss the review out of hand. It's just you crying a river and trying to make yourself look like the victim. Of course, that's only one of the most common criticisms that haters like to levy at me and try to call it constructive criticism. Another very common criticism people will often levy against me is to find just one single solitary error that I made in the review, and then, and this is really fucking dumb, they will focus exclusively on that one mistake, and act like that one mistake single-handedly invalidates the entire review. You would be shocked at how many people cry a rainstorm over something like that. One of the earliest comments I got about that is this comment on my Wind Waker retrospective. He says that my retrospective is invalid because, I got Link's age wrong. Oh, and he also accuses me of not playing the game also. Wow, a double whammy of bullshit constructive criticism. Now, I actually defend this so-called error. In the game's prologue, it says that boys on Outset Island are supposed to be dressed in green whenever they come of age. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, of age typically means age of majority, and in both the USA and Japan, at least modern Japan, when this game was made, the age of majority is 18 years. So because Link in Wind Waker is having his birthday where he's required to wear the green clothes, that means it's his 18th birthday. Eh? But I digress. The important thing isn't that so much that I stand by this observation. Let's assume for a minute that I did indeed get Link's age wrong. How does that one single solitary error invalidate the entire review? I think I brought up Link's age twice in the entire review. The entire review was 70 minutes long. How does the 30 seconds I spent discussing Link's age invalidate the other 69.5 minutes of criticism that I spent talking about the game without mentioning his age? Oh sure, this guy says that the entire video was like this, but heaven forbid he actually give me any other examples. I'd probably be able to defend those examples if he gave them, just like I did with Link's age. At the very least, he appears to believe that his pointing out of this one error, if it even is an error, is all he needs to dismiss my retrospective video out of hand, even if it isn't all he has. This isn't just a single isolated incident either. Nearly every time I make a review of a game that doesn't completely suck the game's dick, I usually can count on people monitoring the video like a vulture, looking for even the slightest imperfection they can find, and then zero in on that one erroneous criticism, using that to pick apart the entire review. Here's a similar comment on Reddit about my Dark Souls retrospective. I supposedly made one single solitary error about how the rat's poison mechanics work, and he acts like that one single solitary error, again, if it even is an error, I'm not going back to my Let's Play raw footage to check because I honestly don't give a shit, shows how my entire review is, and this is his exact words here, straight up disingenuous. Then there's this comment on my New Vegas retrospective. He says that Ulysses is not a member of the Enclave, even though he's brandishing the Enclave flag, and he says that this one single solitary error is embarrassing, and accuses me of making stuff up. Again, he's finding one error, if it even is an error, and he's using that to pick apart the entire review, even though the review was 90 minutes long, and I spent literally less than one of those 90 minutes talking about how the Lonesome Road DLC brings the Enclave back. So I reiterate, even if you can find just one single solitary error I made in the video, out of more than an hour's worth of video content per retrospective, how does that one error single-handedly invalidate the entire retrospective? I can think of only one circumstance where a single mistake would cause the entire retrospective to crumble at the foundation, and that is if I make an erroneous observation at the outset of a video or an entire series of videos, and this erroneous observation serves as a foundation for the entire rest of the series, informing, at least in part, almost every other observation or criticism I make about the games going forward. For example, at the beginning of my Splinter Cell 1 retrospective, I made it clear at the outset that I consider the Splinter Cell games to be platformers by genre. This was an important judgment I had made about these games, because as I went on to explain, understanding what genre the game properly belongs in is essential to understanding what parts of the game I should hold to the highest scrutiny and which parts I should give a pass to. I even used the example of the gun mechanics and the Fallout and Call of Duty franchises to demonstrate how different genres would prioritize different mechanics in different ways. So, if it turns out that I was in error when I determined that the Splinter Cell games were platformers, then that causes nearly every other criticism I make about the games moving forward to fall apart at the seams. Every criticism I make about the games from that point on is inherently misguided and therefore erroneous by proxy. But these errors that these good faith trolls point out and latch onto like it's their firstborn, I fail to see how these supposed errors, and I emphasize the supposed here, actually invalidate the rest of the reviews, even in the sections where I don't mention them. It honestly seems that in order for me to make a quote-unquote valid review, I have to be literally perfect. I have to get literally everything right, literally every detail, no matter how superfluous. So to test that theory out, when I did my Splinter Cell Chaos Theory retrospective, I actually made a mistake on purpose. In that video, I said that after we did the Hokkaido mission, the one where we discovered that Shetland was the bad guy, a missile from a North Korean battery had blown up an American warship. In fact, that missile strike actually happened immediately before we did the Hokkaido mission, not immediately after it. Again, this wasn't a mistake that I feel has any bearing on any other part of the review except the one part where I explicitly mentioned it, but according to these good faith trolls, that shouldn't matter, should it? So, why hasn't anyone yet posted a comment correcting me? Why hasn't some good faith troll, as I've taken to calling them, started crying their eyeballs out because my review is invalid? Why hasn't anyone done that yet, Oh wait, I know why. It's because you still agreed with my overall opinion of the game, and so that one slip-up is more easily forgiven. And here, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally starting to get to the real crux of the issue. See, when people say my reviews are bad or invalid, the real reason they feel this way isn't because I didn't play/complete the game. It's not because I said one thing about the game that was incorrect. The reason they think my reviews are invalid is because I expressed a dissenting opinion, the key word being opinion, about a game they liked. But of course, you won't fucking admit it, will you? Heaven forbid we all just agree to disagree. No, you'd much rather just bawl like a little baby and try to find something, anything, to make the invalidity of my review look like an objective fact. Even if you have to just make it up out of thin air, even when there is direct evidence that your accusations are entirely false, you'll find some way to cry and bitch about how my review is objectively invalid, rather than you simply disagreeing with my subjective opinion. Hell, when you look at it that way, even the outright trolls seem better than you. These guys may not make any pretense of civilized discussion, but at least they own up to their own subjectivity and don't try and pass off their opinions as objective fact. So let me make this clear to all of you. My reviews are not invalid because I didn't complete the game 100%. My reviews are not invalid because I didn't complete the game any percent. My reviews are not invalid because I didn't play the game at all. My reviews are not invalid because I made just one single solitary mistake in the review. My reviews are not invalid because fuck you, they aren't invalid. Now, if you have a problem with any of that, I have the perfect solution for you, and that's this solution right here. Then you won't get my cooties clogging up your subscription feed. And if you really want to take it a step further, then there's a way you can also ensure that my channel never even so much as comes up in your search results or homepage. Whenever you see a video from a channel you don't want to watch, simply click on the 3 dots directly underneath the bottom right corner of the thumbnail. You will see an option to stop recommending this channel. Just click that and my channel won't show up in your search results anymore. But let's be honest, you're not actually gonna do either of those things. No, you'd much rather just do this instead. Well, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy my videos and can accept dissenting opinions, please consider supporting me either on Patreon or with channel memberships. In the meantime, however, I am Acer Thorn, and I will see you guys later.